Health and peace and happiness for everyone. Ashreinu, how good and beautiful is our heritage. Parashat Shmini, Tafshin Pei Bet. In Parashat Shmini, we read about the sons of Aharon, Nadav and Avihu, who bring in the Mishkan, in the temple, a fire that they were not commanded by Hashem to bring, and the fire of Hashem burns them and kills them. Should we learn from here that the only thing that is valuable is the commandment of Hashem? What a person has to do, what a Jew has to do, is just to follow accurately what Hashem says to do. And if I want to do something else, if I have a desire to worship Hashem in a certain way, if I feel something is right, if I have human needs or thoughts about the way that I want to worship Hashem that is totally void of any value, the only valuable, important thing is to do what Hashem said. Some people learn that from Parashat Shmini, but I'm not sure that is totally correct. In Parashat Shmini, we have a lot of energies. We have fire, we have wine, other things that can bring a person to have a lot of energies. Is energy positive or negative? Is fire positive or negative? Can we live without fire, without the sun? Can we live if we don't have protection from the sun? Can we live without Hashem? Can we live if we don't work with Hashem in the right way? Hashem gives us energies, and the Torah guides us how to use those energies. But does this mean that it's only what Hashem says that's valuable, and not something that we take initiative and we want to bring into the world of Avodat Hashem, of worshiping Hashem? Later on in the same Parashat Shmini, after the two sons of Aharon were killed, there are issues with sacrifices that were brought that day. And Moshe has complaints or questions to Aharon about one part of the korbanot that they didn't take care of. And Aharon says to Moshe, there's one part that I did, and there's one part that I didn't, and there's a reason for it. The reason is the part that I did take care of, these are korbanot, these are sacrifices that have to do with the fact that this day was the day of the dedication of the Mishkan in the desert. And we had to continue that because that is a national project of the Brit, of the covenant between Hashem and Am Yisrael. I had to continue that. But where I did not take care of the korban, that was a place that was one of the private daily korbanot, which means that it's something that because I am now in mourning, I am in sadness, it wasn't the right time to take care of it. And Moshe listens to what Aaron says. The Torah says, Vayishma Moshe vayitav beinav. Moshe listened to Aaron and accepted what Aaron said. Why did Aaron understand this from himself? And Moshe needed to have this explained to him by Aaron. The reason is because Aaron was the one who was in mourning. Aaron was the one who was in the great sadness of the death of his two sons. He knew intrinsically within himself where it's right to continue with the work, with the project, with the dedication of the Mishkan, because this is something national that cannot be stopped, even if I, Aaron, am the one who lost his sons and I am the Kohen Gadol. Because I'm the Kohen Gadol, it can't be stopped. Whereas where it's a private korban, I can not take care of that, and that's okay. That can be overridden today. That korban cannot be taken care of today, and we can be considerate of Aharon's personal, individual human needs. So we see here that there is place for considering human considerations, human thought, human feelings, human needs, and both sides are right here in the same parasha. Clearly, a human being is created b'tselem Elohim. He has godly traits within his neshama, within his soul. Sometimes what he's thinking, what he's feeling is proper, is good. Clearly the Torah was not given only so that we can make a person feel comfortable. The Torah makes demands. The Torah elevates us, guides us. But the Torah does not ignore or think that human needs or feelings or ideas are totally without value. There are many considerations and things that we have to think about, criteria by which to decide when a human initiative or human thought, a human idea is proper within the Torah and when it's not. When do we say, Bal Tosif, don't bring anything on your own accord? And when do we say, Kadesh atzmecha b'mutar lecha? You can do something extra within the Torah. There are considerations and criteria by which to make these decisions. Here in the parasha, like this criteria of, is it a national project that cannot be stopped, or is it an individual thing that can be considered? So this is one kind of criteria. Even here in the parasha, there are other considerations and criteria, certainly in other places in the Torah. So what we have to do is not to be extreme and say, either we only follow the word of Hashem, the accurate, exact details of the commandments of Hashem, or we totally go by what a human being wants to do or needs. No, we don't go to either extreme. We have to study the Torah. We have to understand the considerations and the criteria by which to make these decisions, and then we can exercise our judgment in different cases, and in that way we can bring the full Torah into existence, because Eilu va'eilu divrei Elohim chayim. Sometimes it leans this way, sometimes it leans that way. Once we know the considerations and the criteria, then we can make wise decisions in our Avodat Hashem. Shabbat Shalom.